Good morning. Today I wanted to change it up and just tell a story. This story is probably about 7 or 8 years old now. Um, Clippity clop, there's the dogs apparently coming in here. Anyway, I was called by the Moose Jaw Humane Society around, I don't know, I think it was about 8 or 9 p.m. at night, and they needed some help. They were called by the police to a hotel in Moose Jaw because a man had jumped out of the window of a hotel on the third floor, I think it was. So he jumped out the window and he fell on an awning, thankfully. So he didn't die or anything, and he didn't really even sustain much injury, which was pretty amazing. But what he told the police, the reason why he did it was because his dog chased him out through the window. Anyways, I won't get into any details of this man's mental state, but nevertheless. So when the police got there, the dog was obviously pretty distressed, and were able to get it in the bathroom with the door closed, but that was it. They weren't sure what else to do, and they wanted some assistance. So some of the Humane Society staff went in there and tried to remove the dog from the area, and it wasn't working because basically it's like about a 75, 80 pound bully breed type, big, wide face and jaw, and just pretty menacing looking. So then I come in. I mean, this was 8 years ago, right? I mean, I knew a bit about dogs at that point, but anyway, it was definitely a new experience for me. But anyway, so I went inside the hotel room. Hear the dog barking in the bathroom that's closed. There's police everywhere, probably about 5 policemen, 3 or 4 Humane Society staff members, a hotel manager. There's a lot of people there, and they're all just kind of sitting around like, you got to get this dog out of here now. And I'm like, well, I'll try. Like, I don't know what I'm getting into here. And they gave me a little bit of details about what had happened. So I opened the door, cracked it open, and the dog started charging at the door, barking, lunging, spitting, snarling, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what am I gonna do here? Like, how am I gonna get this dog out of here? And the real push, honestly, was that I was scared he was not gonna survive if I didn't get him out, because they might have made another decision of what to do with him. Anyway, so there was a lot on the line for the dog, and I felt bad because of the situation it was in from its owner that it was with. But anyway, nevertheless, so against my better judgment and instincts, I went into the bathroom. So I had a stick in my hand, like a broomstick, just as a barrier to get in between us, not to hit the dog or anything. But if it was going to bite something, at least it could bite that. So then I walked into the door very slowly and then kind of just hit the broomstick on the ground first to see if the dog was going to bite it, because then if it was going to bite it, it was probably going to bite me. But what had happened was the dog started to just gradually back up a step, as long as I didn't go in too fast. So it took me about 2 minutes or 30 seconds to get full inside the bathroom. And then I had to close the door behind me because I had to get him leashed or something, confined or something. But anyway, this dog was severely stressed, like to the max, because everything that had gone on. And it was also cornered in a bathroom that's like 4 by 6 feet wide with a bathtub in it. Like, there's not a lot of space, and it's hiding underneath the sink area in the furthest corner away from me. So anyway, it continues to bark and snarl and bare its teeth and, basically display some very threatening behavior, saying, "Get the hell out of here, Mr. Snow, or I'm going to bite you." But the positive thing that I had noticed, and that was the only thing that offered me any comfort, was that he wasn't moving forward. He kind of just kept holding his position. So that made me feel like, okay, well, he really doesn't want to lunge out and attack me because of where his stance is. So then what I had done was they gave me what do they call those? Anyways, dog catchers, those poles with the loop on them that dog catchers use. They gave me one of those, and I've lost what it's actually called at this moment, but catch pole. Anyway, they gave me a catch pole. So about half an hour elapsed, okay, of me being in close proximity with this dog barking and snarling and growling, and I was just waiting it out because at some point the dog's going to have to calm down a little bit if I just maintain my position and I don't push. So I don't want to push forth towards the dog because then it will just re-escalate what it was feeling. But if I just stand still, and this was something I learned, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing at the time, but I was just kind of going with my instinct to some extent of what was left of it that wasn't shaky as hell. And then about half an hour in, the dog started to be quiet. I can even remember hearing one of the police officers outside saying, like, is everything okay in there? Because it's really quiet, and they were pretty unsure what had transpired, if I was alive or whatnot. And they kind of had, like, peeped through the doorway, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine, just back off. Okay. So then, what I started to do was just gradually move the catch pole just like a step away from me and a step closer to the dog. And after about 10 minutes, I just would start grazing the dog's paws with the catch pole wire at the end and just touching the dog and so forth. To where the dog would not react. I mean, it was not enjoying me touching it with the catch pole, but it was not biting it, it was not lunging at me, it was not growling, and I was able to get the catch pole around the dog's neck and then remove the dog from the hotel. During that, we had to pass a bunch of people because everyone's in the hallway and stuff, and I can't really control anything about other than the dog when I'm already halfway out, and the dog pooped itself because it was so stressed. In any event, we got it downstairs, and I just felt bad. I just felt really bad for the dog. It was sad because I didn't know what was going to happen with its future. And I had just realized what kind of trauma it had gone through. So something compelled me. We tried to get it into like an air carrier crate and load it into the Humane Society, and then they were going to bring it back there to the shelter. But something came over me, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna run it to the shelter, like with my legs, or walk it, or both. And the staff were like, okay, I guess, because I just didn't want to force it into the crate, and it had already been through so much. I just took the catch pole off and put him on a leash, and I proceeded to walk. I think it was 5 kilometers, and run from a hotel on Main Street North to the Humane Society. It probably took me about 45 minutes, an hour. I don't remember really. It was quite a while ago, but I just felt bad, and I just wanted to like allow the dog to release some of that tension and relax and exhaust it basically, so that it could just maybe have a little bit of a sleep at the Humane Society, because it's going to go from one hellish situation to another new one that the dog has no idea what's actually going to happen. And I just felt bad. So, I mean, that just kind of is just a demonstration of my persistence, my will to help, and my caring attributes, I guess, towards dogs. I mean, most people looked at me in that room like, you're gonna come and take this dog out? Like, are you nuts? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. But what's the alternative? That this dog dies? And honestly, from that point, that's a lot of, sometimes, not all the time, but often, that's how I view some of the dogs I work with. And I don't just say, oh, you know what, yeah, that's probably a write-off. You can't move forward with this with your dog. You know what, you should just probably give up. And that's not me. I mean, there's a reason my business name is called No Dog Left Behind, because I'll fight to save the dog's life. That's it. Now, I'm not saying there's not exceptions to this rule, but they're few and far between. Like, there's been like 3 or 4 times out of the thousands of dogs I've worked with. And they've been after I've actually tried and put myself out there. And that's always what it's been about for me, is helping. is giving these dogs a swinging chance to survive. And my roots are at the shelter and with rescue dogs because quite often they come in pretty rough condition. Not all the time. And all they need is a second chance. And the beautiful thing about the second chance that people give them is that vast majority of the time they just flourish. They just sprout into these beautiful flowers. And it's remarkable. And it's heartwarming. And it's motivating. It's also sad because you see the condition that they come in, or even clients for that matter, that see the condition that the dog is in, unfortunately, because of varying factors. I mean, really, it could be breeding, it could be under socialization, it could be, sadly, they got some poor training advice. I mean, it could be varying things, but my heart's always in it to try to offer the dog a fighting chance and just live out their days in a happy way. Anyways, kind of turned off a little bit there, but that's a story for today. Thought I'd switch it up and give you something different. Have a great Sunday, or Monday, I guess it is. Enjoy your Monday.